Hi, I'm Ross. I run a pool maintenance business and we have been dealing with the Enviroswim system for well over 5 years. We maintain pools with the Enviroswim system. We also install Enviroswim units for our customers and other people as well. We find the Enviroswim system the most innovative and most effective sanitising system in the pool industry. As you can see here, we have everything laid out of what the system consists of. We have the power unit here, which will both run your existing pool pump and also run the Enviroswim system. We have the ultrasonics chamber, which is part of the system, which helps sanitise the water, along with the cell housing, which consists of the copper silver electrodes and the oxidizer cell. So all three combined give you the perfect sanitising system for your pool. At the front here, we have some connections that will help you with either 40mm or 50mm pipe, which we'll discuss later. We also have all your installation and operating manuals, your warranty card, and your copper test kit, which again we find is probably the most accurate and easiest kit to use on the market. For the simple installation of your Enviroswim, there are only a few tools required: a drill, primer and glue, hacksaw, and some spare pipe, whether that be 40 or 50mm pipe. Anyone who's done a tiny little bit of plumbing can install the Enviroswim ES3. The two main things to remember are to always prime before you glue. The reason behind priming is that if you don't prime the joints when you glue them together, years down the track, it gives them the opportunity to pull apart under pressure. Whereas if you prime every joint first before you glue, then once you do glue the joints together, they will stay glued together and you won't have leakage issues later on. The second thing to remember is to keep everything straight. Whether it's pipes or cell housing, whatever plumbing you do, if you keep everything straight, you'll be okay. Probably the most important part of your plumbing preparation is to identify exactly where to plumb your flow cell, which consists of the oxidizer and the silver copper electrodes. Now, this flow cell will always be plumbed in the return line of your pool. In relation to your filter, the easiest way to identify the return line to your pool is to eliminate the other two lines. There will always be 3 lines coming from your filter. The easiest way to identify the return line is to eliminate the other 2 lines. One line will be a line that runs to your pump. The second line will be the line running to your waste line. And the third line will be your return to pool. So you eliminate the other 2 lines, which will leave the remaining line to be your return line to your pool, which will come out of your filter and run into the ground. And that's the line that you plumb your flow cell into. Okay, the other part of plumbing your ES3 is to plumb in your ultrasonics chamber. Now, this ultrasonics chamber works in conjunction with the oxidizer cell and the silver copper electrodes to create a complete sanitising system. Now, this ultrasonics chamber normally will be plumbed in just above your pump, because you'll always have this gap between where the pipe comes out of your pool pump and the first elbow. The ultrasonics chamber will sit comfortably in that spot there. You simply cut the pipe in 2 spots, install the chamber in that position. And when it comes time to plumb your flow cell into place, the simplest way to do it, to alleviate the amount of weight on the pipe, is to simply undo each end. So firstly, undo the cap and take your oxidizer cell out, easily removed, and do the same with your silver copper electrodes. This will simply leave you with the cell that's free to be plumbed into place. On the bottom of the cell, you'll notice that pipe can easily fit into both sides of the cell. Now, we are working currently with 40mm pipe, and 9 times out of 10, 40mm pipe will be what is plumbed into your pool system. These inlets are designed to take both 40 and 50mm pipe. If you are working with 50mm pipe, the pipe will then plumb straight in to these openings. If you are working with 40mm pipe, you will receive some attachments that you can easily glue into place first, and then it will allow you to glue your 40mm pipe into these attachments. It's vital when plumbing to always measure, even if you have to measure 2 or 3 times before cutting. So once you're happy that you've got the correct measurements, you then cut your pipe through, and then you can start plumbing using primer first and then glue after that. Once you've cut the pipe to the required measurement, you're then ready to install your flow cell in the space provided. Okay, we've now installed our flow cell in its correct position, and we've done this by cutting the pipe to where we measured it. Our initial plumbing came out of the filter and elbowed down into the ground. And what we have done is we have measured the space required, we've cut in one spot and we've cut in another. Once we've allowed that space, we have then primed and glued our 90-degree elbow, which brings our pipe, and we've also measured another bit of pipe into this position and glued and primed this pipe, and we've done the same this side. We've used a joiner here to join this pipe with this pipe, which takes us up into this side of the chamber. So we now have our chamber solidly primed and glued into place. Okay, we've now installed our ultrasonics chamber exactly the same way as we installed our flow cell. What we did was we measured the distance that we required to plumb it in. We marked those spots and we've now cut through the pipe, leaving the gap to install the ultrasonics chamber. We've done this also by putting in the little inserts that are supplied in the ES3 box. These are because you're using 40mm pipe. The same inserts that we plumbed in to our flow cell to allow us to use 40mm pipe instead of 50. It's very important when you're installing your ultrasonics chamber is to make sure that the port where the lead comes into it is not sitting over your pump lid, because it is very easy then in future to undo your pump lid, take everything out and keep hitting the lead, which will weaken the lead over time. It's much better to manoeuvre your ultrasonics chamber so that the port where the lead comes into it is away from your pump lid. Okay, after our installation of our ultrasonics chamber and our flow cell, it's time to mount the power box on the wall. We simply do that by removing the 2 screws that will be attached underneath the unit and drilling 2 holes in the wall so that your unit can attach onto those holes. Again, you check the back of the unit, measure the distance between the 2 holes, put the screws in the appropriate spots. Once you've mounted the unit on the wall, it's now time to connect up our oxidizer cell, our silver copper electrodes, and our ultrasonics chamber. Because there are 3 components linked to the ES3 power unit, there will be 3 cords coming down from the ES3 power unit. One will connect to your ultrasonics chamber. The thinner of the 3 wires will connect to your ultrasonics chamber. The other 2 wires, one will connect to your oxidizer, the other will connect to your silver copper electrodes. The attachment for the ultrasonics chamber is a very simple little plug which you push into place and then screw the outer nut to hold it in place. Okay, now it's time to install our copper silver electrodes and also link them into our ES3 power unit. Again, we do the same thing as we did before with our oxidizer cell. We feed our lead firstly through our large black locking nut, through our outer cover, and then we push them in to the end terminals. They can go either one because they are reversible. Once you've done this, you can then install your rods into the flow cell, put the outer cover in place, and lock it in place. with the outer nut. The final installation is to connect your pool pump into your ES3 power unit. The reason to do this is because the power now will be coming directly through to your ES3 unit, which will turn your pool pump on and off and also allow your sanitizer to work. We do this simply by taking the power cord from your pool pump and plugging into the bottom of your ES3 unit. Okay, this ES3 power unit will allow you to do two things. It will allow you to set specific times throughout the day and night where you would like your pool pump to run. It will also allow you to control the amount of sanitizing in your pool. So you use your copper silver test kit as supplied by Enviroswim, and then you just adjust it accordingly via your oxidizer and ionizer outputs. Okay, well that covers the installation for your Enviroswim ES3 system. If there's anything different with your system, please contact Enviroswim and they will recommend a qualified fitter in your area.